Shit, I got something, no doubt. I just got it. I took it last night. You go take it again.
You just hit
everybody, welcome to
live.
Yes, 10 o'clock. Yes, I know. You just keep eating. I'm gonna do the intro.
So you just gonna go live and don't say nothing. No got no countdown, no nothing. You just gonna go live.
I
You were
did.
talking about something in the middle of your sentence. You just went ahead and went live.
No, what I said was it's 10 o'clock.
Well,
Let's go live. You were chewing on your food. You didn't hear me. So I apologize. So good morning, everybody. Me and Kenneth.
But you were still in the middle of your sentence.
You say good morning. You're not gonna let me say it. You say good morning to everybody since you're not gonna let me do the intro. Go ahead. Hello.
And why you choking right now?
See, God don't like ugly. That's why you breaking up.
His own speech or something that I'm saying now.
Because he knew you were about to insult.
Yeah, he's coughing now, so hopefully he won't disturb us too much. He won't disturb us too much with all that coughing. He should have some water or something right there to drink so he won't be coughing as much. But you can't tell some light-skinned folks anything. They just don't listen.
It's not
and then incidentally, he's kind of dark right there. He didn't go get a tan, y'all. He just it's not showing where. It's not showing up on my thing is live.
Not showing that your thing is live.
No, it's not. It's not about that. It's not.
Well, that stopped him cold, everybody. He got to have his fans on here. It's not showing that you live. Let's see. Hold up. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Save changes. Okay, now there you go. There you go. It's showing it now. We live on your page. Your fans can watch you. We live on your page now. Your fans can watch you. Welcome to Here We Have Something to Say. Me and Kenneth have just spent 2 minutes of talking about my coughing and me being rude and my dark shade because he said I'm not professional enough. We just started off the day with insults from Mr. Lively. So I'm gonna let him. He's gonna do a lot of talking on the show. With that being said, go ahead and get your rant off. Goddammit.
Oh no, I wasn't ranting. I was just telling them that you have a cough, and we're gonna try to. He's gonna try to mute himself whenever it happens. I'm still not coming up as live on my thing yet. He's gonna try to mute every time it comes up as being he starts coughing and everything. So pray for Leonard, y'all. And also he did that. Leonard didn't go get a tan. He actually has he's trying to use natural light, and there ain't much light in there, so we can't really see him right now. He's just like a shadow in the back of the room. So once he figures that out, you don't know why he cut the lights on in the room. We still can barely see you, man. Yeah. But we gonna make it do what it do. It's you need to put that above your head, man. See, we try to be professional up in here. This brother ain't even doing that. Oh, man. But getting back to the matter at hand. This is a crazy day. This is an extremely crazy day, y'all. And the reason why I say that is because there's so much going on right now in terms of you have a military parade going on in Washington, D.C. As somebody said, a Russian/North Korean type parade where Trump is the military is supposed to be rolling through the streets of D.C. With tanks and other things, artillery, soldiers marching, and they're going to, walk past him and salute in formation and all that, and salute to him and all that. That's what they do in totalitarian regimes. That's right. Fascist regimes. They do parades to show off our military might, show off their military might, and also to make people salute or make people praise the president or the leader or whatever in that country. And Donald Trump is doing that here. Why? And today is his birthday. So unhappy birthday. I hope this is the worst birthday of your life. I hope everything that you want doesn't come true. I hope that you have permanent hemorrhoids, mouth herpes. I hope all whatever hair you got left under that thing, I hope it falls out. I hope you have cataracts, chronic halitosis, and what is that? Toe fungus. There you go. I hope all that happens to you all at the same time in the same day, and they can't figure it out. That's what I hope. That's what I hope for you for your birthday, Donald Trump. So unhappy birthday to you. And also I hope that that it rains on your parade only in the section where you are. Only in the section where you are that it rains. Matter of fact, I hope it's a thunderstorm and it strikes the podium that you're standing near. That's what I hope. But I digress. You see, I didn't wish that he died. I don't want him to die. I want him to suffer. He should be in prison right now, but it is what it is. Anyway, that's what's going on. Two, there's thousands, and I do mean thousands of marches planned throughout the United States today in protest of Trump and his policies. And they're and Trump in reference to Trump and his policies. So we got a lot going on today. One thing I want to start out with is something that I saw yesterday. And it's a provision of Trump's quote unquote big beautiful bill. And one of the things that he's talking about is that they put in the bill is saying that a provision in the bill that says, we know all the other stuff they're talking about, some of the other things they're talking about cutting funding and out to Medicare, Medicaid, and a bunch of other things that they're doing as quote unquote cost saving things. There's actually going to save the country, supposedly save the country millions of dollars. Millions of dollars was actually going to add to our debt by over $3.5 trillion over the next 10 years, which it's neither here nor there. Let's just put it that way. But one of the things that I found out yesterday in the bill is Republicans, when they wrote this bill and eventually passed it without any Democrat input, they said that they wanted that the president did not have to follow rulings by the Supreme Court or the court system. Basically, the president, if the president deems something that they want to do or don't want to do, if the Supreme Court rules against the president does not have an obligation, a legal obligation to follow what the courts say. Let's say in the case recently of the young man from Maryland who was taken over to El Salvador without due process. The Supreme Court, all the courts and the Supreme Court said, you got to bring this man back. Well, under this provision in the new budget, they say that that the president does not have to follow what the Supreme Court says. Now, that's what the bill says. And if the Senate passes that or passes that part, leaves that provision in, and it passes in the Senate, which is a simple majority, they have to have a simple majority to do, which they do have in the Senate. If they do go with that, that means that the president can do whatever he wants to do. There's no more checks and balances in our system. And as most of you probably know, our system of government is based upon checks and balances. There are 3 equal branches of government, and each branch has its own power. And they could check the power of the other 2 branches. So basically what they're saying in this bill is that the Supreme Court or the court system can never check the president. The president has the right to do whatever he wants to do, he or she wants to do, whenever they want to do it. Tell the president what he can and cannot do. That's what the bill says. Now, this is where they this is where it becomes problematic for the president. Becomes problematic. This is a bill, and if they sign it into law, it's going to be ruled inside the Democrats and whoever is going to challenge it in the court system and is going to lose. It's going to lose in the federal court, in the appeals court. Now, it's hit or miss if it loses in the they say in the Constitution basically says that they have the right, the court system has the right to check the president. Period. That the three branches of government and checks and balances goes on. Barron, he came up with the idea of the three of the checks and balances of the three branches of government. So this goes back hundreds of years. This is not anything new. It didn't start with the United States, but we pretty much perfected it. So if Trump does this, well, if the Supreme Court does not check him, because unless the Senate takes that out of the bill, and he's going to do everything he can to make sure that that part of that bill stays in place.
I just got one question for you. This is a continuation of our conversation. Hold up, before you go. This is a continuation of our conversation.
It should be ruled on. You have to change that part of the Constitution. Yes, because that's one of the bedrock parts of our system of government, period. That's it. That's one of the main parts. Checks and balances. If you get rid of checks and balances, that means one branch cannot tell the other branch what to do. No branch can hold another branch of the government accountable. That's period. That's what that means. So, having said that, there's people are saying you should go ahead and contact your senator from your state. Now, in the state of Georgia, we have 2 Democratic senators. We already know they're not going to go for that shit. But if you live in a state where there's a Republican senator, send him a little note, an email, make a phone call, something like that. It may or may not make a difference, but you'll never know. It's worth a try. What say you, Sir Leonard of Watkins?
This is a continuation of the story of what we talked about last week. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Yes. I almost see you.
I was about to do that, Mom. I was about to do that. What I was going to do, my mama watching. I just don't. How do you stay in this belief that the court systems are not going to let him do what he wants? Now you can say some judges. I mean, 2 judges yesterday, after a court in California ruled that no, he does not have the constitutional authority to take over the National Guard in LA, ruled that and gave it back to Gavin Newsom. Less than 10 hours later, another appeals court with 2 Trump judges and one judge appointed by a Democratic judge reversed it. And so now it has to go to the full appeals court in California. And I just think that I'm worried when I hear people like you. And this was because I don't expect this from people like you, who haven't gotten to the mindset that yes, they can do it and they are doing it. And this is where I think we're.
Hold on. I didn't say they weren't going to do it. I said it should be ruled unconstitutional.
Yeah, it should be.
Because it is.
We know it should be.
Because it is. Right. I also said they're going to win. Whoever sues is going to win at the federal level and the appeals court.
Why did you say that?
I said it's hit or miss, and it's hit or miss in the Supreme Court.
But why are you? That's why I'm asking. Why are your beliefs still so strong? Okay. Oh, thank you, Harry. Thank you, Harry. Why, why are you still under the belief that your belief is so strong that the appeals court is not going to rule in his favor? And this is what
I didn't say I said it's hit or miss with the Supreme Court. I did say that.
The appeals court.
Oh, the appeals court. Oh, I thought you said Supreme Court.
No, you'll never listen to what I say before you run your mouth. Why don't you let me finish my statement?
You did say Supreme Court.
I said appeals.
Okay. All right. I give you that.
So you're one of the people in the group of people who will refuse to change your mind and get into the mindset that anything can happen and we need to fight from that point of view. That's my belief.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you.
Last week you said, I asked you, Kenneth, they're doing it anyway. I agree that they shouldn't be doing it, and that's unconstitutional. But we're in this no man's land where they're doing it anyway. And it was the whole debate last week was, this is what we're going to talk about earlier today, y'all. What we kind of got on air, and I told them I had this conversation with two classmates of mine last night, like an hour and a half, which was, should we be sitting it out? And there was three different opinions about it. And this belief, and this time keeps going on. Let me bring it together. Time is ticking. So the longer you sit it out, the more they're taking away our rights. We know they're going after the 1964 Civil Rights Act. We know that that's the goal. Because if you can gut that, which is what they did in 2014, and they already suppressed some votes, and they can gut that act, they can almost do anything they want pre-1961. They can do what the hell they want, and none of us are built for that. So when people say they're going to sit it out, they're not going. I ain't putting my body on the line. As I told my two classmates from last night, one of them is vehemently against it. I said, what makes y'all think y'all so much smarter than all them brothers that were in the 40s and the 50s? Y'all not. They had the same, they tread the soil already. They knew in the 50s that they were going to have to get on the front lines. Those kids knew they were going to have to put their bodies on the lines. They knew it. Diane Nash said it time and time again. If you let violence turn us back, we might as well just give up now. That's what she said. When she wrote her will during when they blew up the buses, and Diane Nash wrote over Diane Nash, John Lewis, James Bevel, all those kids who were running SNCC wrote their wills, and they told Martin Luther King, because Robert Kennedy was telling them, do not get on those buses, do not continue that bus ride when they bombed the buses. They all said, if we let violence turn us back, we might as well stay in slavery. That's what they said. These were brilliant people. What makes y'all think it's any different?
Leonard. Well, see, this is the thing I have. You keep thinking that people are doing it because of violence. That's not the feeling that I get from a lot of people who are not participating.
Have you asked me why I said that? I'm gonna tell you why I say that. You and I are both social media people. And what I said then, did you know that there's an 1860 which has to be redone? Yes. Now, I don't know enough about it though. Let me be clear. I knew there was one. I don't know. And good morning, Miss Berth. Welcome to the show. That's first of all. Say good morning, man. Say good morning and welcome.
You haven't listened, dude. Go ahead. Why you go? You stopping the whole show to say good morning to somebody and tell me I gotta say good morning to somebody.
Yes, I am.
All right, say good morning.
Hey man, I'm channeling your mama. You know how she would be if you didn't say good morning.
Listen. Don't make me make a phone call and get your mama on this one.
Look, my mama got visitors right now, so she ain't even listening to the show.
Harry, go get your mama and put the computer in front of your mama.
Mama got visitors.
Harry, go put the computer in front of your mama.
We can.
The whole company, her and her company can listen to your brother.
You just Tammy, don't worry about it. Every time somebody come on here and agree with me, he get mad. He think we be picking on him.
No, she said about agreeing with you.
She said we cannot sleep.
Okay, I didn't say we could sleep. I didn't say we had to sleep. I never said that. But you were explaining why you think we're scared of violence.
What I'm saying is people are online, a lot of chatter, and a lot of Black online chatter are saying, don't go down there and put your body in harm's way. They just waiting on you. And I agree. I do agree with y'all. I agree. They're looking for a catalyst. I agree. Me and Marion talk about this all the time. I agree. They're looking for a catalyst. They're looking. I agree with you. But guess what? If you don't go, and you're the most consequential minority, African minority in the history of the world who has moved shit time and time again, and I keep saying this, you have moved stuff and you have moved mountains. The reason they don't want you involved, because they know you move mountains. They know every time you get involved and put your bodies on the line, we move shit. We're magic. I get it. You don't want to get hit by a billy club. You don't want to get put in jail. You don't want dogs sicked on you. You don't want to go through what our parents went through. I get it. You don't want to. I'm sorry, folks. You're going to have to. And that's why I was telling my two brothers yesterday. I know you don't want to. I get it. I know how scary it could be. I know how, but we have gotten too blankety blank comfortable that we didn't protect the rights that we were going to have to give back to our kids. We did.
Okay. Listen. Now, first of all, some of us are not doing it because we're not scared, because we're scared, or because we're not participating because we're scared. That's not the thing.
Ask me where I got it from. Wait, you asked me where I got it from. I'm just telling you. I was just explaining. I'm not saying you. You asked me where I get the opinion from, and I said, well, I got the opinion from watching some of the chatter. That's why you asked me. You said why? That's what you asked me. I'm not saying. All right. You know, I'm not saying it about you. I praise you too much for what you do.
Listen, I was just saying in general. There's a consensus, or there's a sense that, okay, we have fought for years and years, been in the front line, took the brunt of the angry white man's anger, the brunt of it. We've been the tip of the spear.
Yep, sure.
For years, for centuries, but tip of the spear. We have. All of it. All of it.
Yep, we have.
And at some point, somebody else has got to step up.
No, they don't.
And take that.
They not. See, here's the problem with that.
Because okay. Let's say this. They're having thousands of marches today. Right. They're having thousands and thousands of marches today. Probably close to millions of people out there. Let's just give a conservative estimate. 1 million people out there marching today. If we go out there and participate, and do you think that will change anything? Will it would change his mind? He has his own people who have supported him from day one, turning against him because of some of the stuff that he's doing. You have people who are former military leaders like, dude, what the hell are you doing? This is not what we do in this country. This is not us. Having a military parade, you have his minions arresting a U.S. senator at a press conference, and they talking about they didn't know who the hell he was when he kept saying, I'm a senator, I'm a U.S. senator. He's saying that. And he was escorted in by an FBI agent. So us getting out there to march today, it's not going to change that, man. It's not going to make a difference. If his own supporters, people who voted for this fool twice or 3 times, if he's not moved by their crocodile tears, what do you think us standing out there will do? Whether we're there or not, it's not going to change his mind.
Let me answer the question. All I can do, and I'm gonna let Marion and Tammy and a couple of people have questions for you. So I'm gonna let you answer Harriet's question. I'm gonna let you respond to what Tammy is saying. All I can do is go on the evidence of history. And literally this professor of I posted on my page, came out and gave the rules to marching. and what you need to do. And he's like, here are the rules. And at the end, he said, all these rules came from the 1950s to 61 civil rights people moving this country forward. He said, take their information and use what they did to perfect how you change this country. And all I'm saying to you is, if the evidence disproves what you're saying, because this is not the worst we've seen it. Now, Marlon Scott's mom told him, I hope Marlon's mom is watching, said that she's never, it was worse than this. This is as bad as she's seen as gotten from when she was a little girl, and she's in her 80s. And what I'm telling you is, man, I can't tell you why. I don't have any scientific evidence on what it is about our community that gives people the courage to move forward. I don't know. Me and Marion talk about this all the time. I don't know what it is. I just know it is. I just know that throughout history, whenever there's been a social movement, it's been African Americans that moved it. I don't know what it is about us. They moved it.
Let's say this. They moved it because we had leadership in this country with a moral compass. There's a line they wouldn't cross. Now, if you couldn't move Trump or have him do anything, do the right thing, when there were videos of little kids in cages during his first administration that were ripped apart from their parents sent back to whatever country they came from or whatever, and the kids are stuck here in the United States, thousands of them, over a thousand children stuck in the United States, there's nobody here for them. Kids don't know anybody. They don't know they don't even know their parents' name. Little kids don't even know their parents' name. If they're sitting here, if that did not move him to move the country to do the right thing, God damn it, nothing will, man. We can march till our ankles are bleeding. It's not going to change his mind. It's not going to move the needle because he does not have a moral compass. Period. So why should we go out there? Listen to what I'm saying. My thing is this. I'm listening. I didn't say there shouldn't be marches. What I'm saying is this. Black people, we've done our part. Let's sit back. Let them be the tip of the spear. Let them take the brunt of the white man's anger. And we come back behind them and support them in what they're doing. Let them. We can support from afar. We don't have to be out there with them. Let them march. Let them do it. It's not going to change anything. There's been marches and protests and all this other stuff going on since this fool got in office. And each day is getting worse. Now he comes up with a new way. That's a fallacy. That's a fallacy. That's a fallacy. You cannot say that the protesting has not worked. You can't say. I didn't say Marion. I never said he was trying to change. See, this is the thing, Marion. Y'all keep going back to saying that he wasn't trying, that they were trying to change people's minds. What they were trying to do was appeal to the moral compass of this country. These motherfuckers ain't got no moral compass. They don't have one. Dude, okay. They don't give a shit. Let's go with that train of thought. They really let's go with your train of thought. Don't give a shit. And y'all know that. So why are you sitting here trying to appeal to them when they don't give a shit? They don't. I'm not trying to appeal to them. Stop for a minute. Let's go with your train of thought. Let's go with what you just said. Let's go, and then I want you to I want you to comment on some of the comments that what you just did. I'm gonna let you comment on because they're speaking directly to you. Let's go with your train of thought. Who, if you believe, what you just said, who is gonna be there to speak up for us? There's nobody, and that's my point. My point has nothing to do with them. Let me finish, bro. Hold on. My point has never been about other communities. My point has been accept where you are, which is, yes, you're going to go and fight. Yes, you're going to go and protest. Yes, you're going to be fighting for other people's rights who we can honestly say, man, if more of y'all had voted for, we wouldn't be in this position. We all know that. Yes. It is what it is.
Now, if you're saying that, hey, I'm just not going to do that, which is what Bruce Brooks says, one of your alpha brothers, I say, okay, well, look, at the end of the day, they're going to keep eroding that act that we fought for. And as they erode that act, they erode our rights. I'm not thinking about their rights. I know my rights are tied into their rights. I'm just checkmated on that. I'm just in a checkmated position on that. I can't change that. If I fight for my rights, they're going to benefit from me fighting for my rights. It just is what it is. But if I don't fight for my rights, if I don't get out there and say, no, y'all just ain't gonna take this without fight. And yeah, you can bring the billy clubs and the dogs and the blah, 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 blah. And I'm gonna appeal to moral consciousness, and I'm probably gonna get hurt. We're gonna probably die. We're probably gonna have people in the streets. Yes, unfortunately for us, it is what it is. Every right that we have, Hispanic rights came through the civil rights movement. Immigration rights came through the civil rights movement. LGBT rights came through the civil rights movement. Women's rights were tied onto the back of the civil rights movement. I read this stuff, but it is mind-boggling. All of that came through us. It's nothing I can do about it. I can't separate the two. But if I don't do it, my kids suffer. My grandkids suffer. And what gets me is this: what I was telling Milton yesterday, is all of us educated Black folks, we know that. And we got proof of all those educated Black folks who knew it in the 50s who said this has to be done. Because if they let us take, look, man, I understand. I don't know how else I can say. I understand how frustrated we are. I get it. I understand it. And even though some of our narratives are not true, even though some of our narratives, because most people of color voted for Kamala Harris, just enough other people of color voted for him, and they're catching hell for right now. They're catching hell, but my kids are about to catch hell because they're 88,000 Black women have lost their federal jobs. Highest number in the country, 88,000. 88,000 Black women have lost their federal jobs. Great paying federal jobs, high-end federal jobs, supervisory jobs. And protesting does work. It does. Protest. All those judges.
Okay.
Go ahead. Anyway, wait. I want you to address. You got a couple of things people want you to address because they're talking to you. They're not talking to me. If he doesn't have a moral compass, why do you think any branch of government will stop him? That's one question to you.
Well, that's not a moral compass. That's a legal question. Legally, he can't do it. Now, this is something that Michael Steele says all the time. Who gonna check me, boo?
Yeah.
Who's gonna check him? If he doesn't, if he, because he openly defied the Supreme Court and bring back the Garcia guy. Openly defied him for a while. It was another 3 weeks before they brought him back. They knew exactly where he was. He openly defied it.
Like 2 months.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever it was, the administration openly defied.
But why did he come back?
To check. There's nobody. Well, let's say this.
Why did he come back? Why did he come back?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Okay, for 2 months they didn't bring him back.
But
they should have been. Matter of fact, when the federal judge told them not to let the plane take off to begin with, one of the other planes, don't let it take off. What they do? They took off anyway.
But he's back.
Because there's nobody. Because the thing is this: there's nobody to check him. Nobody's checking the administration. The only people who can do it at this point, the Supreme Court, the courts are doing their part, but they don't have enforcement power.
Kenneth, do you understand why not the riots? I'm about to use their words. Why the protests in Los Angeles are going on right now? It's because the people rose up, and the people. Wait.
I understand that, but are the Marines there? The
people rose up, and the people challenged the ICE. Let me tell you something. You're a former military man. Yeah, you're a former military man. Do you really believe the Marines are going to open fire on all those citizens? You believe?
I never said they would. I don't think they will.
I'm asking.
I don't. I don't. I don't. But it's not. See, this is the thing. This is the problem. We're not talking about. It's not just the fact that the Marines. There's a possibility they may open fire. And let's be real. They got some racists in the military. They've always been racist in the U.S. military. Always been them in there. I've met a few of them, and there will always be racists in the military.
If one soldier, I promise you this, and I promise you, it's not a general up there's not saying this. It's not a cadre of generals not saying this. It's telling him this is the line you can go to. But if one soldier opens fire on any U.S. citizens, the country will go to hell. You will totally lose the country. He will have a chaos he never thought of. If one soldier opens fire on a U.S. citizen, and protests it, this country will burn tomorrow. I promise you. And every general knows that will leave us so vulnerable to every outside military. They cannot have a split military. The United States can't fight everybody, and people are waiting for them to be that morally divided. They're telling us.
I agree with that.
They're telling us if they giving them any real bullets, because they can't have that power. He can't control that. He cannot. The president cannot.
Well, see, this is the thing, though. I'm trying. Everybody's throwing so many questions at.
That's because you're saying such nonsense. I'm joking.
It's a joke. Saying nonsense.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. I was trying to be funny.
But what I'm saying is this: we can't. Us going out there and marching with them is not going to change the narrative. It's not going to change his mind, not going to change his supporters' minds or anything like that. Before we came in the air, you were talking about Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan was talking about what did you say? He said Joe
Rogan has a clip going around, or there's a clip going around with Joe Rogan, who can be partially blamed for this election because most of his viewers are young men who said that
white men. Let's say that,
but it's a lot of young black boys who watch Joe Rogan. I know that for a fact because my nephew's one of them. And he said that if you're part of the team, that you can stomach watching a little girl or a little boy watching their mother being pulled away as they have guttural primal screams saying, please, and you're cool with that, as he said, by saying, you shouldn't have broke the law. He's like, you can't be on his team. He's like, you can't. He's like, I can't. That's my line in the sand. Some of these people.
That's his line in the sand?
That's what he said. Now, do I agree? No. Do I think he did all that?
That's anyway, the point. The point I was trying to make is this. Now he decides I can't, that's a bridge too far for me. I can't go there. But when they were tearing little children from their mothers and fathers back in the first administration, did he say anything about that? No. So it's not going to, let's be real about this. It's not going to be black people who did not support Trump in the first place changing his mind or getting him to change his policies. That's not what's going to happen. It's his supporters getting out there and saying, we didn't want this. This is not what we wanted. I didn't want my cousin who works for the forestry system under what is that? Forestry system. I think it's the Department of Agriculture. I think it's what it is, or whoever, who lives out in Wyoming and is a forest ranger. I didn't want my cousin to lose his job. Now my cousin doesn't have a job and he has to support his family. Or my aunt, who worked at the Social Security office for 30 years over in Boise, Idaho, they closed down her office so she doesn't have a job. Or my child, who just graduated from college, got their first job working for the Weather Service. And they lost their job because they just got hired. That's not what I signed up for. That's what's going to change him. It's not black people getting out there and marching till our ankles, that we done rubbed our feet off down to the ankles. That's going to change his mind because he don't give a shit about us. He doesn't care if we protest. We've been protesting his punk ass since he before he even became president. Black people been talking about how we don't like him and this and that and all that. He doesn't care. Now, the economic thing, that'll change things. You see how he and Musk turned on each other once Musk started losing money. They turned on each other. Money is where we can hurt it. Money is his weakness. Money is all of their weakness.
Can I address two things that I'm putting into the post? Two things. Number one, I want to address something that Tammy said. Y'all got to stop believing this narrative that BLM was about personal gain. That's just not true. BLM was started by 3 women. A lot of people didn't like that. There were 3 women, and 2 of them were LGBTQ. How you say it? I'm saying it wrong. The LGBT community. And they did get a lot of money. Was some of the money misappropriated? Absolutely. But none of those people became rich. A lot of those people were just somebody who came out and started something, because Black women always are at the forefront of starting stuff to protect Black men. And they weren't even prepared to start a 501c3. Did they make a mistake by not having a board? Yes, but we cannot believe that these were just women who started this to be thieves. Now, in the state of Georgia, there was a BLM. Somebody copyrighted the BLM movement, and it was a white guy because he saw he could make money off of it, but not the initial people. And to sit here and to think that because they placed this damn ad that they brought a house in LA, yeah, they did buy a house in LA. Houses in LA typically go for $1.2 to $1.5 million, sometimes up to $2.5 million. But they also were buying the building as the headquarters for the Black Lives Matter movement. And I don't have a problem with that. And I don't have a problem with them using it. We have got to stop placing these unreasonable demands on people because we so much don't trust people when it comes to money. That's why we are where we are. Nobody, they're going to make mistakes. The problem is we don't want to let African Americans make the same mistakes that other people do before we drop them. And then we go out and we spread the same rumors about these people who were just out there doing it because they thought it was a moral responsibility to do it, period. And we just kill those women. But without those women, there wouldn't have been the movement. They wouldn't have. And you can't say, and when you don't have the experience to do stuff like that, you will make mistakes. And the other thing I want to say about to what Marion said was they've been shooting people since Kent State. 50 years ago is not the same. 50 years ago, Kent State was only 5 years after the civil rights movement. It was still in its infancy. People don't even think the same. People don't even feel the same. Black people just aren't the same. White people aren't the same. There's certain things there's certain things that people are gonna tolerate. They aren't gonna tolerate. They just not. And they're not going to do. It's enough people. And with Marion, you know this more than anybody else. With the proliferation of guns right now, there are 350 women, more than that, because we got, how many citizens we got, Kenneth? About 300 million. There are more guns than there are citizens. Now, unless you're willing to just turn around and just do what Russia does, which is a whole bunch of white folks that don't want to live under a king. They rather live there. It's a whole bunch of white folks that do, but all these white people that are doing this, a whole bunch of these white people are saying, I ain't vote for this. I don't want to. You can watch those damn Republican town halls to realize, in white red parts, to realize that some of those white people are going, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want to be treated like a black person. Let's be honest. That's what they say.
And those are the ones that's out. Those some of the people who are out there marching.
Right. They're saying And my only thing is, man, look, if this is the strategy, I always say it don't have to be my way. If you think this strategy is going to work, it is what it is. I think that you go back and you look at I have a hard time. I hate when people say I ain't my ancestor. You damn right you not. You damn right, because if you know anything about the movement, you know a lot of parts of the movement was started in this little bitty ass town below Selma with some poor, uneducated blacks who said we didn't have enough. And they knew they were going to get their asses kicked, but they said they had enough. They don't want their kids growing up like that.
Okay, hold on. You keep going back to the same thing, talking about what happened in history. This is something new. This is a problem. As I said, and I'm going to say it one last time so you'll understand what I'm saying.
I understand. I disagree. I understand.
Apparently, y'all don't understand what I'm saying.
I disagree.
This is unprecedented. What's going on now? We've never in the United States, they have never seen anything like this at all. This was going on in the United States was the reason why the men who wrote the Constitution, as flawed as they were, as racist slave owners as some of them were, this is the reason why they wrote the Constitution the way they wrote it. They worded it the way they worded it for a specific this way for a specific reason, for times like this. This is what they wrote it for. Now, I'm gonna address two things. One, Harriet, what you said about Congress is unwilling to do that. You're right. Congress is unwilling to check him. They're going to answer to somebody, members of Congress who are not standing up to him. They're going to answer to somebody. And it's not going to be somebody who's going to be as rabid about Trump as they are now. Because one of the things that one of the fears that they've always said is we don't want to be primaried. Somebody worse than them. Somebody who's more in line with Trump's agenda than they are. So that's why they go along with it. But the problem is they've gone too far, and now they are going to be primary, and it's going to be from people who are not as rabid about Trump as they are. It's going to be moderate Republicans who are going to have to make a compromise. So things are going to change. In the meantime and in between time, before the next election, there's going to have to be, as people have been saying, we're going to have to tighten our belt. We're going to have to deal with this bullshit because we have nobody to. The Justice Department is going along with what he's saying ad nauseum. They're supporting him. What he says. There's nobody in his administration to check him, so we have to rely on the courts. Now, if that bill becomes law, which if that provision that I talked about is still in that bill, and it becomes law, it still doesn't, pun intended, trump the Constitution. Then we have to worry about whether or not the Supreme Court will side with him or whatever. And I want y'all to listen to this. I want y'all to understand. Even though he is fighting the Supreme Court or fighting the court system, he's fighting them. Privately, he's giving in to them. There's a lot of things that he's going back on because of federal judges, because he's losing in the court.
Can I say something? Can I add something? What you said, something Lenny just said. I think everybody should know this. There's an eternal fight that the Washington Post just came up with, that Trump and Leonard from the Heritage Foundation have fallen out. They've had a huge falling out. The Trump judges that you see who are ruling against him are Heritage Foundation picks. Mm-hmm. Because some kind of way Leonard has finally gotten to his mind that, oh shit, I done created this Frankenstein that has to be stopped. And the Heritage Foundation, Marion will tell you about, this has been a long term, they've been thinking long game since the 80s when they first came up with. So what's going on
70s.
right now?
No, this go back to the 70s.
So cool. So they've been thinking long term, which is what we got to start thinking. So what's going on right now, according to the Washington Post, is that the White House has now said they won't take any recommendations from the Heritage Foundation. They aren't taking any more judges. But all their judges right now are on hold because Padilla, which they just made it worse, Padilla put a hold on every Secretary of State appointee. Like Tuberville did. Remember Tuberville did it last year, Kenneth?
Yeah, with the military, yeah.
Padilla has had a hold on every Secretary of State appointee since April. Somebody else has now come and put a hold on every appointee of Homeland Security. So it's the judges it's the rift that nobody's talking about between the Heritage Foundation and the Trump administration. Now he's trying to get a stranglehold. He's saying, hey, you know what? From now, since y'all want to act like this and you don't want to give me this control, we aren't taking any more recommendations from the Heritage Foundation, which might not make a difference because they can't get any of their judges to get a hearing in the first place. Because any senator can put a hold on an indefinite hold on any political appointee. So I just wanted to say that because I saw Laney's comment. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, now to address something that Marion said. Marion said a little bit earlier about the Marines haven't arrived in LA. They actually are there. I saw a report yesterday where and they're guarding the federal building, the federal building where the ICE building where they were taking detainees. That's where they're guarding. That's where all of this these protests in LA are centered around that particular area. It's not in the narrative that LA is on fire, that the whole all of LA is being damaged by rioters and all that. That's not even true. These people are they're in the area less than a square mile. All the area around that particular federal facility. That's what the Marines are protecting. They say this is looking bad for the Marines because yesterday, I think it was yesterday, either yesterday or the day before, right after they arrived, a young black guy tried to enter into that building to do some black guy, put him on the ground, handcuff him and all that. Guess what the young black guy was there for? Or guess what his former job was? He was in the military. He was a military veteran. Going to that federal building to take care of something dealing with his benefits. That's what he was going to do. And they threw him on the ground and detained him. That was a bad look for the Marines. That was a bad look altogether for the military. I guarantee you they ain't going to do shit else while they're there. They ain't going to touch nobody. I guarantee you their commanding officers like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Why y'all throwing people to the ground? We're not doing that. We're just standing here. Y'all find somewhere to stand your post, and just don't do nothing else. Don't touch nobody. Because every time you touch somebody, guess what? It's making us look bad. Y'all need to stop that bullshit. So, Marion, Kent State, and that was National Guard at Kent State. That wasn't the regular military. This is the first time the regular military, the active duty military, have been deployed anywhere in the United States. Or at least probably since World War II, if at all, even if then. Yeah, World War II. And I think they were the guards at the internment camps that they held Japanese citizens in, or Japanese American citizens in there. But they've never been deployed like this before. So one thing we not going to have, and I think, Linda, you said something, they might not even have bullets in their gun. That may be the case. Now, I tell you what, no, that was National Guard. That was not Marines were not deployed there. Marines have never been deployed. Active duty military have never been deployed. They may have been deployed during peacetime in the United States. And they aren't trained for that. What's problematic, one thing that's problematic, and I'm going to say this, I want people to understand something. There's a sheriff in Florida, and Kenneth, I can't remember where he's from.
Kenneth, deployed 1992 Los Angeles riots triggered out Rodney King led to the deployment of U.S. Marines to assist in restoring order. I think one of the things I heard this constitutional attorney talk about this the other day. He said what the Marines can do. You're right. Only the National Guard can be deployed in order to assist local law enforcement by detaining people. The Marines are only supposed to be there for logistics. Any active duty military is only supposed to be for logistics. They are not supposed to help detain, arrest, or any of that stuff if they're active military duty. But the National Guard can, according to him. All right.
All right. What is? Oh, I was talking about the sheriff in Florida. He told them that if you throw a rock at our officers, we will kill you.
He always talking that shit.
Yeah. See, what he doesn't know, well, somebody should have pulled him to the side and said, you can't say that shit. Because if one of your officers killed an unarmed person, guess what? You are going to jail because you told him to do it. You ordered him to do it. And then you said, then somebody else got up there, some other asshole got up there and said, well, if they get in front of your car, run them over. So what you're basically doing is telling people it's okay to commit a crime because somebody's blocking your car. What they're doing is setting themselves up. They're going to go be sued and possibly be convicted, prosecuted for telling people. That's basically inciting a riot. Basically, like if Leonard, I tell you, you at my house and there's somebody in front of my driveway, you can't get out, and I tell you, man, just go run the motherfucker over.
Here's what I want to say. I agree with Lenny. Here's the part I don't get. I got a sheriff in Fulton County that's black. I got a sheriff in Clayton County that's black. I have a sheriff in Richmond County that's black. Why aren't they getting on this? Why aren't they getting on camera going, them sheriffs in Florida are full of shit? And as sheriffs, we don't agree with what they're saying because they got to give them the bully pulpit. Sheriff so-and-so and so-and-so, you know you dead, that's wrong. Sheriffs don't do that. Why are not those I agree with Lenny on that. Where are all these sheriffs in different towns, because there's sheriffs who have jurisdiction to arrest people all over the state, right, Kenneth? Isn't that what the sheriffs have? Jurisdiction to arrest people all over the state? Yeah. Why are they not coming out and saying, man, shut the fuck up? You're not helping us. See, the reason we are where we are, the reason that the tensions are so built up is because you got people like Tom Corman coming out there acting like some badass white dude who couldn't beat a graper in a fruit fight if he didn't have his goons behind him. Tom Corman is the reason why we're at this tension level. Tom Corman doesn't have to come at people like that. He didn't have to get on national television talking about senators like that. I don't care if the Trump administration backs him. I believe what Eddie Glaude said. Man, let me call your bluff. And this is where I tell you got to put your life on the line. I got to call your bluff. Eddie Glaude said this the other day because we don't have a lot of time, and I agree with him. Every Democratic rep should be in California on the front lines. Arrest me, goddammit. Senator, I don't want to hear all those senators saying I support Senator Padilla. Adam Schiff, get your ass to LA. Yeah, you might take a billy club. Yeah, you might get hit, but let them hit you with your credentials. What I'm paying you for? What are you being paid for? I agree with Eddie Glaude wholeheartedly. Jasmine, all of them. Get your ass out to LA and get on the front lines. Dare them to arrest you. Dare them.
Well, hell, this protesting damn in Houston. She ain't got to go to LA. She can go to her own city.
Damn, but one won't work. See, they got to be together as a group. They have to go as a group to say we may not have power politically, policy-wise, but we got the power of the moral high ground to stand out here and say we are with these people. You're going to have to put us in jail too. Do it. I want to see them do it. And then I want to see how they feel like the rest of their lives are going to play out when those people get out of jail. Do it. Stop sitting back. I can't do it. And Meeks do it.
What's Harriet? What you talked about Holman from the borders are, that's not even a real fucking job. He don't have no damn power. He's out there talking all that shit. He has he doesn't even have an agency. He doesn't run anything.
Don't you find it?
He's running, he's go out in front of the cameras and everybody's giving him all. This motherfucker ain't got no power. He doesn't even run an agency. There is no drug czar agency.
I just don't get this. To all of y'all watching, The Newark mayor gave you the blueprint. The Newark mayor gave you the blueprint. This is when I tell you, I say people are scared. This is why I tell you this. The Newark mayor gave you the blueprint. He walked down to that detention center. They had to arrest him. And what was he? He was on every show. And he said, and now he's suing them. Now he is suing the Justice Department. They just don't want to, they don't have the will to do the work. Why are they even in office? Y'all been coasting with $175,000 a year for the last 4 or 5 years, man. You done made your money. Okay, now it's done time to put your pedal to the metal on your skin in the game.
I agree. We do need elected officials out there doing the job, being on the front lines.
Me and Kenneth said this over a year ago. Me and Kenneth came up. He said this over a year ago when Fonnie came up. And me and Kenneth said, man, that was a brilliant move that Shirley Franklin and Andre Dickens was down in court. Remember that? And we said, where were the rest of them? Where were the rest of them? Whether you agree with her or not, whether you thought she should be fucking the dude or not, where were the rest of them in court saying, y'all not going to do this to Atlanta? We said that. To put some pressure on that judge. Let him see all of y'all in court. Not me. You're elected. They need to be out in LA. They need to be in Houston. They need to stop getting in front of the goddamn, where's Schumer? Where you at? If you too old to get out there, bruh, give it up. We done had enough of this. Now we think that you're just there for the power and the money and the perks.
Mm-hmm.
Get out there as a group. If your fellow Republicans will watch you get beat with, and them police officers are willing to beat elected representatives out there by the hundreds, we already gone. I don't believe it. I don't believe she got the balls. Because you might get your ass kicked when I come back to Washington, since you decided you want to support this. Anyway, it's 11:02, bro. What you want to do?
I think you need to go put on your walking shoes, man. You need to go put on your walking shoes. Listen, I'm not telling y'all to go out there not to protest. I'm not saying that. I'm really not saying that. If that's what you feel you should do in your heart of hearts, go ahead and do that. And I've said this so many times before, and I'm gonna keep saying this until y'all understand my point. If your goal and my goal is the same, it doesn't make a difference which road we take to get to the goal. That's bottom line, because we need to come from different angles, different points of view, different places, so they won't see us coming. So do what you can do. Do what you can do. The people not buying Teslas. Tesla stock has dropped tremendously. People not going to Target. Target's bottom line has dropped tremendously, and their stock prices too has dropped tremendously. People not going to Walmart as much. Walmart's still the biggest retailer in the country, but they losing money too, a little bit of money. They feeling it too. So do what you can. And the answer to Harriet's question, what can we do? Economic boycott always works. It always works. We can march. We can do an economic boycott. We can not watch their shows, not pay for their services, not whatever. We can do all of that, because all of it's going to change. And as I said earlier, it's not going to be marching that changes Trump's position or moves these Republicans who are supporting him in Congress. It's not that. It's the money. The money's going to do it. Oh, and the fact that they're scared that they're going to lose that $183,000 they make a year. That's what's going to change them. And we need to start putting forth people who really and truly support what we are trying to do. Not just because they look like us. Somebody who has an actual plan, an actual agenda, an actual platform. Let them run for office. There's I use Georgia because I live in Georgia. Georgia has a Republican-dominated legislature, and they do a whole lot of irrelevant, unnecessary, stupid shit because we have people in rural areas of Georgia who don't vote. Let's be real. People who like me and you, or Leonard and I, they don't vote. So we need to start getting those people.
15 million African Americans did not vote in the last election.
15 million. 15 million.
Out of 34
That's ridiculous.
19 million vote. 15 million didn't vote. They registered.
That's ridiculous. So we need to mobilize people in these rural areas because we have. Let's be real. For the most part, we have the urban areas locked. Now the urban areas locked. We just need to get away from the Atlanta's on lock. Augusta isn't. We need to get the people out in Augusta. We need to get the people out in Macon. Yeah, people in Savannah. Get them out to vote, man. Burke County, Columbia County, all these surrounding counties in here in Georgia. That's what we need to get out here to vote. If you want to change how things are, let's hurt their pocket and let's make them unemployed.
I wanna end it on this because I gotta go. Something just came up. I gotta take about. No comment. Because Marion wants me to comment. Sherelle, who used to come onto the shows, her stepson. I don't know the circumstances around it because Marion knows about it. I couldn't see it. Stepson had to go to the hospital because of a car accident, and they thought he was, because his last name is Gonzalez. They stationed 2 ICE agents outside his door, and at his hospital, with no proof. They just stationed him, assuming that he was illegal, even though he's an American citizen, born in America, because his last name was Gonzalez. He's black. If you don't think this is going to affect you, and this is what Roland's been saying, this is what I've been saying. Me and Kenneth may disagree on the strategy, but if you don't think this is coming, this is Angela Riseman saying, Tiffany Cross been saying, this is coming to your doorstep. And before I let something come to my doorstep, I'm going to fight you from afar. But this is coming to your doorstep, black folks. This is coming to your doorstep because you are the ones who are responsible for the 1964 Civil Rights Act. So you have to get at the core of who created and who pushed that act forward, and that's us. Period. You're not going to because you're comfortable. You think it's going to bypass you. You believe that it's not going to affect your job. You are surely mistaken. It's coming for you. You just better make sure you wake up before it's too late. But I gotta run.
Actually, you gotta walk.
Yeah. Actually, I gotta walk. And I'll see y'all next week. Thanks for joining us.
Make sure you put on your orthopedic socks too, man.
Yeah, I do. I got my whole sleeve on. I'm about to call my sister right now for find out where I'm gonna meet her. And I'll see y'all next week. All right.
Hey, man, get on live and record some of your stuff.
I'll try.
Oh, one more thing. Hold on. Before I go.
Go ahead.
Before I go, if you encounter somebody, if you had a protest and you see somebody that's doing something crazy, about to do something crazy, record them.
Record them.
Yeah, yes, record them. Make sure you record them because we all know that even during the protest during the George after George Floyd's death, there were always these agitators who didn't support the system, didn't support anything. They would just sit there to start stuff.
Right.
And they were always white men. Let's be real. They were always white men. And during that time, they wore masks, but nobody's wearing masks now. If you see somebody in the crowd with a mask on, that's the person you need to worry about. That's who you need to worry about. Because there's not the pandemic is not COVID is not a problem now. So if you see somebody with a mask on, it ain't true. But I'm saying to the point where we have to wear masks everywhere. If you have somebody in your crowd near you that's wearing a mask, ask them to either take that mask down or record them because chances are they're an agitator. Either they're from that quote unquote Antifa group or they're somebody in support of Trump and they just want to start something to see so that the police can react. Expose them, y'all. Expose these fools.
Good
So,
point.
Leonard, while you out there with your orthopedic socks on and your very, 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 very thick walking shoes, be safe, brother.
Okay, man. I'll talk to y'all later, chump.
Deuces.
I always got to end it with a joke.